Thank you all for coming. My name is Dave Patti. I'm the President and CEO of the Pennsylvania Business Council and our affiliated PAC. We are very pleased to announce our endorsement today for the re-election of Auditor General Eugene DePasquale. This is an endorsement for the general election, and it's made at this time to make it clear that our business leaders support his re-election in November. During his time in office, Auditor General Eugene DePasquale has proven to be a friend of the business community and an advocate for all Pennsylvania taxpayers. Auditor General DePasquale understands that the complex problems facing the Commonwealth and its municipalities shape the business climate of the state. He's working to protect our state economy and as a result create and sustain jobs in the Commonwealth. Auditor General DePasquale understands that Pennsylvania is not only competing regionally and nationally but globally, and recognizes the impact of government policies and government programs on the bottom lines of Pennsylvania employers. Auditor General DePasquale is using his office to promote policies and streamline programs that will make Pennsylvania more competitive in the global economy. We're delighted to be sharing in today's endorsement with TCI PAC, and represent TCI PAC, I'd like to introduce to you Robert Latham, who is the Executive Vice President of the Associated Pennsylvania Constructors.
Thank you, Dave. Again, my name is Bob Latham. I'm Executive Vice President of the Associated Pennsylvania Constructors. I'm here representing the Transportation Construction Industries Political Action Committee. With me here today is John Becker, President of the American Concrete Pavement Association, and Jason Wagner, Executive Director of the Pennsylvania Highway Information Association. And on behalf of our chairman, Mark Snyder, I would just like to say that in 2012, General DePasquale was the leading, I would say, statewide official who recognized the importance of a comprehensive transportation system and a well-funded comprehensive transportation system, and how that relates back to a strong economy for Pennsylvania, jobs, and safer modes of transportation throughout the Commonwealth. And as such, we're certainly pleased to be here with the Pennsylvania Business Council, which was also a leading proponent of safe and efficient transportation here in the Commonwealth in making this endorsement. Thanks, Dave.
I'd like to introduce now Tracy Lawless, who also has a few words.
Thanks, Dave. Hello, my name is Tracy Lawless, and I'm a PAC board member of the Pennsylvania Business Council. Let me say how much I respect the work and dedication of Auditor General Eugene DePasquale. He's been a tenacious advocate for education and job funding programs, and on the forefront of issues ranging from protecting healthcare workers to safe drinking water. First as State House Representative for his district in New York, and now statewide as Auditor General. Auditor General DePasquale promised when he ran for office that he would be a tough, fair, and independent watchdog on behalf of Pennsylvania taxpayers. We believe he has kept that campaign promise and done well to fight waste and corruption. Eugene has the extraordinary ability to lead an office that does the tireless work of public accountability matched to the extraordinary demands of Pennsylvania taxpayers. The Auditor General's office does about 5,000 audits per year. Most of the time, few or no problems are found. Most organizations want to do the right thing and use their dollars efficiently. But it's important that when there is a problem, we have an Auditor General who can be counted on to be fair and impartial. Since taking office, Auditor General DePasquale and his team have saved state taxpayers more than $111 million. As someone who represents many sectors of the business community, I'm proud to stand here today and offer my support and commitment for the re-election of Eugene DePasquale as Auditor General.
Thanks, Tracy. We'll next hear from Ken Varhola.
Good morning. My name is Ken Varhola. I'm with Duquesne Light Company. I'm also a PAC board member, and I'm standing here proudly to join with my colleagues to endorse Eugene DePasquale for his re-election campaign as State Auditor General. As a fellow Western PA native, I've known Eugene for many, many years. I think he's a wonderful, hardworking, conscientious and intelligent individual who's going to do the best and has been doing the best for Pennsylvania, will continue to do that. And I just wanted to say, as a friend, I look forward to supporting his efforts during his re-election campaign in whatever I can do. Thank you.
Rick Grimaldi.
Morning, my name is Rick Grimaldi, and I'm a partner at the law firm of Fisher & Phillips, and I'm a PAC board member, and I am proud as a Philadelphian to support Eugene DePasquale for Auditor General. Auditor General DePasquale, has led by example. By modernizing functions in his office and reducing his fleet of state vehicles, he saved the Commonwealth nearly $3 million a year. This gives his work rooting out government overspending credibility and force. Other state leaders can learn from him and create a culture of cost saving within their agencies. The Auditor General has been quick to point out that not everything he finds in his audits is illegal, but it might be wasteful. Eugene DePasquale wants our taxpayers to be able to trust that their government spends their hard-earned money paid in taxes wisely. I'm proud to support Eugene DePasquale.
Thanks, Rick. And Peter Calcara.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Peter Calcara. I'm Vice President of Government Relations for the Pennsylvania Institute of Certified Public Accountants. I'm here this morning in my capacity as Secretary and Treasurer of the PAC Board. The Pennsylvania's business community is especially grateful to Auditor General DePasquale for taking a lead in combating the Commonwealth's municipal pension crisis. We hear a lot about the state pension crisis, but the municipal governments there's a pension crisis there as well. We have more municipal pension plans in Pennsylvania than in any other state. In fact, more than 25% of all local government public employee pension plans are located here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Public pensions are a key contributor to the state's fiscal troubles. Our municipalities are facing real difficulties, and Auditor General DePasquale has not been afraid to point out the trouble, even in the face of political pressure from interest groups as well as from within his own political party. The Auditor General wasn't afraid also to weigh in on the recent discussion about the Pennsylvania Employee Retirement Commission. He understands that pension analysis must be immune from political pressure. I stand here in support of endorse Auditor General DePasquale and thank him for all his help.
Now just hear from the Auditor General.
Thank you, Dave, and I really do appreciate everyone being here today and the tremendous support. I've run for election to the House and re-election, election to Auditor General, now running for re-election. And I will tell you that whenever people support your re-election, it is in many ways even more meaningful, because when you run for office the first time, there's the hope of what you're going to do. When you're running for re-election, it's in a sense endorsing the work that you've done. And to me, the best indicator of what you're going to do in the future is the work you've already done. And I'm proud of the work that we've done in my first term as Auditor General, that I think is looking out for all Pennsylvanians regardless of political party. The over $111 million in waste we have found in state government, $25 million in school districts, and we've been critical of both public school districts and charter schools. And I know many times people fall into one camp or the other, but I want both entities to work well. And also when it comes to transportation, Bob talked about my support for the comprehensive transportation package, which is 100% correct. But there's a part of that that I felt, not only did I support that as a Pennsylvanian, but as the Auditor General, pointing out the irresponsibility in not acting. That if we didn't act at the time we acted in Pennsylvania, the cost of putting aside those improvements would only continue to go up. And some of the work that others have talked about here today. You know, look, sometimes it does make people uncomfortable to talk about pension reform. And when I started advocating for municipal pension reform, it was not based on any ideology, it was based on math. That at the current pace, if we don't do something to fix the system, it's simply going to be an unaffordable system that'll put both the retirees, our professional law enforcement officers, and taxpayers at risk. So for all of these reasons, you know, I think that the support is there for my reelection. For what it's worth, I know there's a lot of people probably in the Dome that get a little bit uncomfortable when I have a press conference. I get that. There were probably, you know, maybe some, what's the thing where they stabbed the doll, when I would come out with my budget press conferences to talk about every time they weren't passing a budget, the cost of fixing the problem would only go up. Today, because of a lack of a state budget, school districts, just school districts, have had to borrow nearly $1 billion and the estimate interest payments between 40 and 50 million, just because there isn't a budget. That is the height of fiscal irresponsibility. And when people say, Eugene, who do you blame? My answer is, it's time to quit blaming and time to start coming up with solutions. So that's what my first term has been like. And again, some of the talk about what we've done in the department is accurate. The first thing I did as Auditor General was ordered an audit of our internal operations. We've saved between $2 to $3 million a year in travel expenditures. We've cut our leases. I was the first statewide elected official in Pennsylvania. There was, I think, a guy in Wyoming beat me to the punch nationally, so I had to stop talking about being the first in the country to post them online now. That was a tough meeting in the office. But I was the first in Pennsylvania to post the expenses online. And people say, oh, 7 hotel bills, is that safe? And I make the point of saying, when I'm in Pittsburgh, I sleep on my mom's couch, and the room service is significantly better. And it's not even close. I mean, the Days Inn in Meadville, God bless them, it's just not that coffee in the morning at their continental breakfast it's just not the same. So I'm running for re-election this year, and people say, what's your strategy for re-election? My number one strategy for winning re-election is to keep doing my job every single day. Obviously, I'll be out there having to, do the campaign commercials and that type of thing. But my number one job this year is to keep doing my job. And I've enjoyed every second of being Auditor General, and I'm looking forward to hopefully having not just this endorsement today, but the endorsement of the voters come November. So again, pleased and honored to have this endorsement today, and I'm going to fight very hard to not just do my job, but to keep it this November. So thank you very much.
Any questions for anyone who spoke or the Auditor General?
I just have one. Dave, your organization, is considered or seen as Republican or more conservative, and the Auditor General is a Democrat. Why does party matter in this case, or not?
No, and I'd like to say that our first and foremost concern every time we make an endorsement for any office is, how does this person's performance impact the competitiveness of Pennsylvania, making Pennsylvania more business friendly, a better place to attract employment, keep the employment that we have, be able to grow jobs and grow prosperity, and be a better place to live. So we are looking at that. I will in fact make a confession, following up on his remarks. He was our second choice last time, 4 years ago. And in fact, I will tell you that one of the things that we discussed at the time was, well, will a Democrat be, as Auditor General, be just looking for opportunities to go after Tom Corbett, or if Tom Corbett is defeated when he stands for re-election, will a Democrat Auditor General be more willing to overlook things of a Democrat governor? And the Auditor General is right. In 4 years of what we've seen, we have found him to be an honest broker, putting party aside. The fact that he is a Democrat and a loyal Democrat is fine, but he's doing the job first and supporting his party second, and he's supporting the people of Pennsylvania. I think that's what really matters to us.
Dave, if you don't mind, I want to comment on the business side of it for a second. And I appreciate the question, and again, I'm honored by the support here, specifically on the business side of it. When it comes, look, myself, I grew up in the city of Pittsburgh. Okay, I live in York now. The number one issue facing cities, there's two parts to this. Number one is public safety, but two is economics. And the economics are almost completely driven by the issue with municipal pensions. And I do think part of this is related to the idea that I was the first statewide Democrat to be willing to speak out on this issue. Cities are not going to be able to hire cops and firefighters if we don't fix this issue. And taxes are going to go up if we don't fix this issue, which is only going to hurt the economic climate of our city. So I do think that played into it. And the second part, I've been all over the state. My wife grew up in Franklin County, which, let's be blunt, is not a Democratic haven. I grew up in Pittsburgh, which is obviously more so. But I've yet to find a liberal, moderate, or conservative that is okay with $111 million in wasted taxpayer dollars. And I think that when you talk about the debate in Harrisburg, and this is, Senator Scott Wagner's been talking about this, and I'm throwing his name out there because you may want to, ask him about this, because he's asked me about this in my budget hearings. Would the solution to getting a budget deal be easier if all of our budget recommendations would be incorporated? And And the answer is yes. If we got rid of that waste that right now we have identified in Pennsylvania state government, and both parties at least started with the idea of, okay, we may have this $2 billion disagreement. Let's at least take this, and you can use that to get you at least part of the way there, because that's money that is of zero value to Pennsylvanians. So I'd like to think it's for both of those. Maybe there's other issues as well, but I know point blank, when you talk about business growth, most people want our cities to do well. If our cities have to raise taxes or lay off cops because we don't fix municipal pensions, our cities will be less competitive with other cities across the country.
Just a quick comment on the partisan question. I just want to note during Act 89, that was a Corbett administration initiative. The general stood with Governor Corbett, Democrat Attorney General, Republican
Auditor
Governor.
General, not Attorney General.
Auditor,
Yeah, please.
excuse me.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know
I
it.
got my general.
Yeah, no, it's fine, it's fine. I just thought it was important for that clarification.
Make sure you get that right, okay?
Way ahead of you.
Thank you. Most people are. But anyway, the point is very bipartisan, and our organization, the transportation industries, is primarily businesses as well. So you know, it's very important to understand that the party doesn't matter; it's more actions speak louder than party for us.
Any other questions? Well, not thank you all for coming, and we appreciate the work of the Auditor General and look forward to his reelection as well.
Thanks for your support.